In this week's video, we're going to be digging into Zoho Books, and I'm going to show you 2 ways to improve your purchasing process to make life easier when managing bills. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you today is a built-in feature in Zoho Books that I find way too many clients of mine just didn't know about when they first started working with me. So I want to make sure everybody on my LinkedIn knows that it's there. Second of all, I'm going to show you a secret project I've been working on for another client that I actually think would be great for all Zoho Books users. I've even stolen this one and put it into my own system, so I really want to show you what we're going to do. So I'm already in our test system here, and you can see that on the screen. And you can see the data in here is a bit rubbish. It's a test system. We put lots of junk in here. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is document auto-scanning in Zoho Books. So when you're in the Books app, we're going to go to the left-hand side and down to Documents. Now, effectively, this is an auto-scanning feature where we can add in PDFs of our invoices. Zoho will look at that PDF and try and pull out all the line items so we can very quickly generate our bills. So I'm going to go into my downloads here, and I'm going to pull out an invoice from Zoho and drop it in here. Now, it takes a moment to scan, so whilst that's scanning, I'm going to tell you how the sort of payments of all this works. So included with your Zoho One subscription, you get a limited number of auto scans, and depending on if you're subscribed directly to Books, you also get a limited number. However, chances are, if you're going to use this feature, you're probably going to need to pay for some extra auto scans. You can see here I have 48 auto scans available, but if I go into my add-ons, I can go in and buy more. Now, thankfully, it being Zoho, the auto-scan add-ons are actually really reasonably priced. So if I go into Manage Add-ons now, I'll show you exactly what that is. So I have added on an additional 50 into our system. That costs £8 a month. If I go up to 100, it's 16 a month. Now, what's quite nice is these actually accumulate over time. So if you pay for 50 per month, but you only use 30, actually they'll build up over time. So it might be that you subscribe for 2 months on a high number and you've got plenty to last you a couple of months. That's generally how I work. I don't have a huge number of bills that come in each month. So 50 a month is more than enough auto scans for me. But obviously it'll depend on the size of business that you are. Now, if we go back into Books, this will stay scanning in progress. But sometimes if we give it a refresh, that actually will show as completed. There we go. And you can see in the details section, it's already pulled out some information. So you can see the vendor, Zoho, the date, the reference. Now, if I click on that line and I go to Add To, I can create a new bill, expense, purchase order, vendor credit, or even new quotes, sales orders, and invoices. Most of the time, you're going to be creating a bill or expense, is my guess. So if we go in and create a bill, what you'll see is automatically it's pulled out our line item there. So if I go into here, you can see I've got my line item here. You can see the rate is £211. That's right. Now, a couple of things it doesn't always do perfectly is in my case, it's pulled out the name of this vendor as Zoho, but in my test system, they're actually called Zoho Corporation Limited. So it's not done that matching 100%. It also by default doesn't pull in the account. Now, I'm going to be talking about that in the next part of today's video because this is the part that we've done something quite exciting for. So I'm going to go in and type in software. There we go. So we've got some software in there. And then I'm also going to want to apply the VAT. Now, at the end of that, I should be able to see that they are exactly the same number, which is perfect. It's pulled through the bill number, the bill date, etc. And I can save that as a draft. Makes things nice and easy. That's now a bill in the system. We can go in and check that out if we want to. Now, obviously, this is a small example, but some bills may have many, many line items. And what's actually really nice is if you install the Zoho Books app on your phone, you can also do receipt scanning. So, for example, when we go to the shop and we get some supplies for the office, so tea, coffee, milk, etc., we just scan that one receipt and Zoho pulls out the line items for us. And it just saves a lot of that sort of like that wasted time of kind of monotonously entering data. So it's definitely a feature to give a go. Now, a bonus on the document scanning. So you'll notice in here next to the available auto scans, we've also got a configure button. Now, if we click this, this is going to give you a special email address. And this email is for automatically sending invoices or bills directly into Zoho. So if I slide across here, I've got an email in my inbox. So this is an invoice I've received from another company that we use, another bit of software. I can go in, I can hit forward, put in my to address, send that off. Now, it takes a couple of minutes for it to come through. So I actually did this before recording the video today, and you can see it's already come through. And it looks exactly as if we just dragged the file in here ourselves. Now, that's great, being able to send it from Outlook like that. The two things I'd recommend you do. One, if you've got receipts that are always coming into Outlook, maybe set up some forwarding rules in Outlook so automatically they're forwarded into Zoho Books so you're not doing it manually. The other thing is a lot of suppliers and a lot of online websites will actually allow you to specify an invoicing address. So for example, Zoho within their subscription details will allow you to input a subscription address. So if I go into email receipts in the billing store here, I can actually input what email address I want to receive the invoice, and you can see it's by here, and this actually goes into our live system. Amazon does the same, lots of other suppliers do it, in which case the invoice doesn't even need to come into your inbox, it can go directly into Zoho Books for you to then create the bill and then reconcile against your bank account. Now, there's another part to what we're doing today. So one of the things that I find quite frustrating, and this actually came from a client as well, is for a lot of suppliers, particularly if you're buying software, the account code, the nominal code, is always going to be the same. However, in Zoho, by default, there's no way to set a default nominal code per supplier. So what I've done is we've done a bit of custom work, and I'm going to show you how this works now. So we've added against vendors in Zoho Books. I'm going to go into Zoho, for example, and go into Edit. We've added a new custom field that allows you to select your default account. And you can see I've just got a couple in here because this is a test system. So in a real system, there'd be many more accounts than this. So we're going to select IT and Internet expenses. What we've then done is used a relatively new developer technology in Zoho Books to build a background widget. Effectively, this allows us to run some custom code in the background on the website that allows us to automate some aspects of Zoho that Zoho hasn't done themselves. What this then means is if I go into my documents and take my Zoho bill here, hit new bill, now you'll notice the account is uncategorized here. As soon as I go in now and select Zoho Corporation, it'll take a second, but you'll see that account code has now automatically been set to the correct default. And in fact, if I add additional line items, you'll see it'll do the same to those as well. This is one of those things that on its own, and looking at it in a video like this, it feels like a really small addition, and in some ways it is. But actually, when you're a larger company and you're entering potentially hundreds of bills per month, the quick time saving and making sure those accounts are pre-selected really does add up. And the other thing is, if you're working within an accounts team, sometimes, it could be a bit of a debate as to what bill goes into what nominal code. Sometimes you might have codes that are quite close to each other in what they do. This allows you to set a default so there's consistency in reporting, so every bill from Zoho is going into IT and Internet expenses. Now, this doesn't work for all suppliers. For example, if you buy something from Amazon, chances are you're going to buy a whole variety of things from Amazon, so the account code won't always be the same. So this doesn't work on all suppliers, but suppliers like Zoho, software, things that the account code is always going to be the same, I think this is going to make a huge difference. Now, if you're interested in knowing more about how I've made this work, or if you think this will be beneficial in your system, drop me a message on LinkedIn or email us, visit our website, and we'll take you through and see if we can get this set up in your system as well. That's all for today's video. If you need any help or have any questions, please do comment and I will try to get back to you. Speak soon.